Recording. All right, welcome back, everybody. We're doing Lifecycle Insights Friday workshop for not 429. Boy, we really are bad at updating this. For 5:30. Our data quality on this slide is suspect. So we're gonna do a couple quick housekeeping items. If you're brand new to the platform, make sure you're keeping an eye on your email for your Monday emails. You'll get a message from Marnie Stockman that will invite you to our new to Lifecycle Insights Wednesday calls. Those run 1 o'clock Eastern time every single Wednesday. If you don't get a chance to get through those, or if you have questions about them, they're also available in the as recordings in the help desk, or I'm sorry, in support articles. You can just search for welcome in the support articles and you'll get recordings of all of those events. Where can you find us? Well, right now, Marnie is out in Dallas for IT Nation Evolve. So we're missing some of our regulars today that are also out there hanging out with her. Next week, May 17th to 19th, Marnie's actually going to Dallas for the 7-figure MSP event. So I was going to do that one, but I'm going to sit at home and be a bum. So Marnie will be out there. We've got a few other trips coming up. We'll start posting those as they come. DattoCon just sent out some confirmation. We'll have a cool event here right around the corner in DC. Hopefully we see a lot of you guys there, but we'll definitely be at DattoCon. We're going to do Build IT and ConnectWise IT Nation. So we'll be at a lot of the big events if anybody's going to be making any of those. I have some really good news on something that that is about to land on the roadmap. It was actually on last quarter's roadmap and I hadn't made it out for you yet. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, so I'm going to give you 3 pictures. Tonight, we're going to push SSO straight to the login page. So all of you will get to log in with your Microsoft 365 creds. Man, am I really doing that bad, Luna? I believe it. Today is not 5:30, it's 5:13. So yeah, you're going to get some cool new features this week. This is exactly what it looks like. This is the main login page with the Microsoft sign-in. There's also an adjusted login link that we can give you that will just auto SSO on, so you don't have to confuse people with that. If you're giving it out to your customers, you can just shortcut link them right to this login page here, and then you'll see that they've got and this was the big holdup. We have the ability to force SSO for login for all users. So you can make sure that your users are required to use SSO. And this will make sure that you don't have to fight with MFA in an additional platform. Microsoft MFA rules apply once you check that checkbox. So I would recommend that everyone go do this. Your current tenant accounts will still be there. They will still exist. You'll still have your main account, your main admin account with a password. That'll serve as a break glass account. God forbid that Microsoft's SSO goes offline. You can reach out to our support and they'll be able to get you in through a break glass account. So they'll basically uncheck that checkbox for you and let you back in. So that's SSO. It'll go out this evening. You'll have it tomorrow. I know it's probably one of the most asked for things that we've ever had. John's not here to take more of my ribbing about it, but it is definitely one of the most popular things that we've been asked for. So looking forward to having that out in the platform. Lots of other cool stuff coming on the roadmap. So I know Marnie recorded some of this for you guys last week and sent it out. If you saw that, just bear with me. I'm going to go through this a little quick, assuming that you guys watched the recording. If you didn't, she emailed it out Friday afternoon or Friday morning, I think, last week. So you should have gotten a recording, or your admin should have gotten that recording. Actually, I'll bet I can find it for you and share that link one more time. Give me just 1 second. I should have had that handy. All the things we don't think about till we get on a call. Here we go. So if you missed it last week, here's Marnie's quick recording of it. She goes into a little more detail. She can talk through a couple of those things different and better than I can, but you'll see that we're already crossing these 3 things here off as completed. So that'll bring our roadmap down to here. We're going to be pushing out Autotask ticket integration. So for Autotask partners, this is functionality we've had in the ConnectWise side for a little while. We've been promising to work towards feature parity. So if you're an Autotask partner, what you're about to get is some functionality like this, the ability to drill into an asset and create a PSA ticket right from the asset. The ability to click into an assessment item So let's say we've answered an assessment, or we're getting ready to answer an assessment, and we know we need to engage an engineer to go ask one of the questions. We can create a ticket from here and have that become something that happens over in our PSA. So you can literally create this ticket and say, hey, Bob the technician, please come in and look at this for me. You should know this answer. We can also go into business reviews and create tickets. We're going to be doing a webinar on this in about 2 weeks. The tickets that get created, I knew he was going to do that. The tickets that get created from in here, you can create one main ticket over top of the entire QBR. We're going to talk to TimesZest next week about, and we're going to do a webinar with them a week or 10 days about how to set up your ConnectWise so that when you create this ticket, it auto fires TimesZest and gives you the ability to send out an auto request to your customer to schedule that time. You can also create individual tickets down here on your notes. So if you come home with 5 things to do, you can create a ticket for each and then assign those tickets to other folks in your organization. So, and then the last place I think that you can assign a ticket, or you can create a ticket, is inside of a recommendation. You can create a PSA ticket here to push that recommendation back as one and give folks the ability to do the procurement side of it all from the ticket in your PSA. All that exists today in ConnectWise. We'll be looking to match that feature set and deliver feature parity in Autotask a little bit later this year. Customer success. There's going to be a lot of upgrades to customer success. A lot of you guys are still just using our VCIO platform. Some of you have even had me recommend that you not jump into customer success yet because it's a little bit manual, still has a lot of work to be done in it. We're working to continue the automation on this side. So one of the things that we're going to automate this quarter is the ability to fill in company MRR based on a contract. So one of the things that we do with a customer in customer success is account for how much MRR they are worth to your company. Today, this is a manual value. Our goal is to give you the ability to go to contracts, select one of your contracts that was imported from your PSA, and match this value to one or more of those contracts. So that's what's coming for this. We'll also look to pull the number of users so that we can calculate things like MRR per user and some things like that. We'll look to pull the number of supported users out of your PSA. If users in your PSA is a mess, you're going to need to clean it up or this value will not work, right? If you retire users out of Microsoft 365 and never retire them out of your PSA, you know who you are, then this data is not going to be healthy for you. So just give some thought to that. Down here on the for health metrics, $12 a user. Yeah, that could be. So we're going to start to automate some of the customer health metrics, including things like CSAT scoring. We're going to integrate with ConnectWise and Autotask's native CSAT scoring tools, as well as potentially things like Smileback and customer thermometer and some of those kind of things. We have a whole list of those that we're working on. We're going to be looking to pull over some of the additional metrics around tickets and risk assessment scoring and all that for customer health. So you'll be able to add something in here like what was their last ticket, what was their last, how many tickets are they doing, what was their score on their last assessment, maybe locations, so that we can calculate customer health and customer complexity, both based on real world data that already lives in your PSA. So there's a lot going out around that. Stack alignment automation. This is a big one. Your stack, knowing what services are your recommended products. We want to be able to read that from your ConnectWise and Autotask instances. The big thing here would be we go read the invoice. We know what you're billing your customer for. Then you tell us which of those products and services really belong in your stack. And then we'll be able to identify for you automatically that a customer's not using your most recommended product in a particular place, and we'll be able to go help you identify when you need to go sell a new product or service to that customer. So stack alignment should become much more automated, where we can say, hey, you know what? I see very, very clearly that Creative Designs doesn't have my security awareness platform. They're using something else. I can go sell this to them and make some money. The account managers, you guys, it has been asked for several times that we give you guys the ability to assign account managers based on assignments that already exist in ConnectWise or Autotask, whether that be by territory, whether that be by the actual account manager field. We're going to look to automate the assigning of account managers so that as you guys grow and scale, when you break them out in your PSA, we just understand that already and use that natively. So those are the big customer success upgrades. Those are really just a matter of automating a lot of the things that we already do. Those of you who are throwing something out there in the chat, Crewwho and SimpleSat are both on the list, but we will do these in order based on responses that we get from our survey feedback. We did this survey about, I'm going to say 6 months ago, and I'm going to refresh that. I will put it out in the Facebook group. I'll put it out in the Slack channel, and Marnie will email it out on the Monday email. Make sure you guys grab that survey, that link, and fill it out at least once. You'll only be able to fill it out once. It will require your email address, but you might have everybody in your team fill it out. That might work for you. And that way we'll really know that we're building the things that the majority of our customers are using. When we have these conversations, I hear people say Crewwho and SimpleSat. Last time we've had the survey filled out, I think there was one person who checked Crewwho and one who said SimpleSat, and like 10 that said they use the in-house or the built-in Autotask function. Is anybody here using the built-in CSAT functionality in ConnectWise and Autotask? Anybody willing to raise their hand and own up to that one? No. Okay. It's funny because those are the ones that we got the biggest responses from, and that didn't sit right with me when it came back last time. I couldn't imagine anybody using the built-in ones because I thought they were terrible. When I ran my MSP, we used Smileback for a while, and then we moved to Crewwho. So okay, that sits better with me. So make sure you guys fill out that survey, because if we get back bad information, we'll be building the wrong product, and that doesn't do anybody any good. All right, a couple of upgrades that are coming to Report Builder. This has had a beta tag on it for way too long. Our goal is to bring it out of beta, but it needs some new features. Report Builder is going to get a report locker. Report locker will mean that you get a report associated with an event. So you have an event. For that event, you have an assessment. For that event, you have the final report that goes out for the customer. You'll be able to store all that in one place. It'll stay there frozen in time, and you'll be able to identify that data. What this is going to do is enable us to break up the overlap right now between templates and an actual assessment event. So you'll be able to build your template, and there'll be a smoother, cleaner way to take that template to an event, do all your customization over there, and leave your template alone. So we heard the feedback. We are working on it, and it's definitely something that we want to get out sooner than later. And then the other thing that we'll want to do is bring goals and objectives from customer success back into Report Builder, so that we have a way in Report Builder to say, hey, Mr. Customer, I need you to do this cybersecurity initiative, but it also supports your internal company goal of, enabling your company to scale, enabling you to buy a competitor, whatever that thing is, right? So we're going to tie those goals back here to Report Builder so that we can show those to the customers on the output and not just have those as an internal thing. All right. Will is writing a bottom. That's fine. I wouldn't be surprised at all. The problem is he knows Kelvin, and I'm afraid of Kelvin's bot skills. That's the scary part. All right, so a couple other things that are coming up. This doesn't apply to a ton of you guys just because of the time zone you're sitting in this call in, but our goal is to have a prototype up and running in the EU so that we can start to scale out and better service customers overseas. We're going to do some more automated onboarding and automated recommendation enhancements. So a big chunk of this is the ability to come to you and say, hey, it doesn't look like you've configured this piece of Lifecycle Insights yet, and you would get XYZ value out of it. Go follow this article, and we'll walk you through, doing that next piece. We understand this product has turned into a lot of buttons and a lot of places where you can go to dig in and configure things. We want to make sure that if you're not using a part of the platform and don't understand it, that we can give you a little reminder or a little nudge and a little training on how you might be able to use that new product or feature a little bit better. Budget report enhancements. It sounds like there's going to be a few minor changes to the budget forecast as we put this out. We're going to flip the spreadsheet view and the detail view. This will default to spreadsheet view going forward. So seems like everybody comes here anyway and converts to spreadsheet view. If you don't, you're probably missing out. There's a couple nice defaults you can set up here. So this will give you the ability to very quickly switch between the types of reports that most folks are putting out in front of their clients. So thank you for the feedback that gave us that. We've already made sure that spreadsheet view now includes all of the linked items under it. So it used to be that spreadsheet view didn't have a link and you couldn't drive into a particular asset or something from the budget. That has already been done and should be crossed off the to-do list. Fiscal year support and scenario support. Both of those are going to be coming in the next 2 quarters. So if you have customers who do a July to June fiscal year, we'll be able to accommodate that. Other folks in England and overseas do a lot of like April to March fiscal years or something crazy. So that will be, that'll be easy. Kirk, you say cut out things like network equipment. What do you mean?
For example, like you've got network equipment. If I don't want to show that in my budget forecast, I can just click that.
So you can, I would create a view. So change reporting options, pull it out here.
Cool.
And then save it if you use that a lot.
Cool.
That's probably the best way to do it. Yep. Those views are super powerful. If you guys aren't using these, save yourselves some that you use a lot. They'll save you a lot of time. That's one of those little hidden tricks that anywhere you see this blue gear, there's probably some pre-saved settings you can configure. You can do it on the asset list if you wanted to, include a certain field or, kind of create your favorite view. You can put some stuff back in like warranty renewal costs. Anywhere you see that blue gear, you probably should be stepping into that and making sure that you've tweaked it and configured it. The other big thing is going to be from the budget forecast is going to be scenarios. We've had a lot of asks for, hey, I've got a server replacement that's going to be $15,000. I'd rather the customer move it to Azure, but I need to show them their budget both ways. We've kind of square peg round hole and built that in with some options of recommendation statuses, recommendation types, but we're going to build in an actual scenario builder. This is going to include things like auto uplifts and auto escalations. So if your agreement says 3% increase every year on this contract, or just assume 3% increase overall, we're going to build some of that in there for you. That'll already be there and be kind of built in for you. Greg, come off mute and tell me what you mean by easier to toggle recommendations to show and hide them, because I'm not sure I'm with you.
Hey, on the budget forecast screen, I have views where I want to talk about recommendations. So I have a saved view with recommendations included, and then another one that's exactly the same thing with it excluded. And I keep having to go through that 6-click back and forth. There's a common workflow that I go through with a client where I don't want to talk about recommendations. I just want them to see where everything looks like as IT debt up in the rows where they would actually fall. And then if those things are attached to a recommendation and I have recommendations showing, it pulls them down and it looks confusing.
I got it. No, there's no plan for that, but if you draw up a use case and send it in, we'll consider it.
Cool.
And is anybody else doing something like that with your conversations? Always helps us to know that. Or we'll just call Greg out for being the weird one.
I mean, I might now.
There we go. That's a fair answer. All right. So a couple more things that are coming. If we drill into assessments, we're going to give you the ability to tag assessment items. So if you go into an assessment event, you'll be able to come in here and insert different tags on different assessment items. This is built to give you a way to filter and search by tags. One of the easiest and obvious things here might be to come in and tag something as technical, right? So that now when your engineer comes in to fill out a portion of the assessment, they know they fill out technical questions. You might tag something quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, so that you can do different sections of the assessment during different quarters. You might flag something as non-technical, and then your non-technical account managers can do that piece of work. So there's a couple of different scenarios in which we might use tags and then a search to show all of those things. And then the last is going to be, we're going to define some requirements and kind of look for some feedback from you guys. I don't know that we'll get it built this quarter, but our goal is to at least know what we need to build through your feedback so that we can set up the assignment of assessment questions. And this would be, we need to hear what your workflows look like. Are there assessment questions that you need to send to your customer and have them fill in, right? Do you have this policy and procedure? Do you have that policy and procedure? Have you updated it regularly, et cetera? Are there questions that your account manager is not technical enough to fill in and you need to assign them there? Are they the same questions every time, or does that move? So we need to get some ideas around how you guys would imagine the use of assigned assessment items and what that workflow might look like, so that we can turn it into obviously as few clicks as possible, so that you guys can get through it quick and easy. So give some thought to that, knowing that in the next couple of months, we'll probably be poking at individuals and pulling you aside to ask questions. If you want to put your name in the hat as somebody who has some feelings and some input, just send us an email. You can send in an email directly to Marnie or me. You can put in a you can put in a support ticket, or you can just email info at, and we'll all see it.
Hey, Alex, I have a question on assessments. Is there a way for me, so I've run an assessment and now I'm doing a comparison. Is there a way for me to filter down to just the ones that are not satisfactory? I want to review all the ones that were at risk and make sure I'm assessing those over again, but not the whole assessment all again.
Not today, but it sounds like a great idea.
Okay, I thought I just couldn't find it. I have a feature request.
You do have a feature requested for that one?
No, I should.
Okay, yeah, I would. Right now, all we really have is show all items, show unanswered, and show answered. But it wouldn't take much for them to say, make this multi-select, kind of like we did over here in, if you imagine that drop down.
That's exactly what I was imagining, because it's in the report builder to hide, or sorry, no, it's in the.
Well, it's in the help desk tickets, right? Yeah, I'm imagining this right here with show answered, show unanswered, show at risk, show, each of those options. So I think that's a fair ask, and I would put that together and literally screenshot that and send it in and say, can we do this to that filter that you have over there? We're working to, we improve a filter in one place, and we're working on like better ways for us to know, oh, we should go make that same improvement here, 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 and here. So yeah, that makes perfect sense. And we already own the logic and the stuff to do it. The business unit's a good use of tags, Tim. That's an interesting one. That's that makes sense. I think there's a lot of this kind of stuff that as we get into assessments and bigger assessments, tags could be useful to allow you guys to assign multiple people to it and tag team an assessment with tags. So probably some cool stuff there. So yeah, be looking for us to be reaching out to you to talk about assignment and workflow and how all of that might work. I think there's some really valuable stuff we can do. Yeah, Bill, we'll make sure the video always goes out Monday mornings. So look for an email Monday morning, but I will try and grab it for you before that. It's not in my Zoom room, so I have to go grab somebody else to get the recording. But if you get our regular Monday emails, you already get this. If you don't get our regular Monday emails and you'd like some more spam, just send an email to info@lifecycleinsights.io and we'll fill your mailbox every Monday morning. All right, so a couple other things that we're working on. Asset ad hoc. This might be a report that not a lot of folks use. Last time we reviewed this on this Friday call, somebody came back to me and said, oh my God, that was freaking awesome. You just saved me like 20 hours worth of work. What this is, and if you think about our platform, everything up here relates to the individual company that you have selected in the client picker. When you get below MSP reports, these are across your MSP. These are all client reports. So when you go to Microsoft 365, you get to see everyone's 365. In my demo environment, I only have 2 configured, but in Asset Ad Hoc, we can search across all of our customers. So here we might go and search for where make is Cisco or Cisco Systems, right? And now I can go out and see 70 records where that is the make. And then I could go in here and say where model contains 2960, right? And now I can see I've only got 1 of these records. Where we're looking to improve this functionality is by giving you the ability both to export this to Word and Excel. Okay. I didn't even hear about an HP security vulnerability. I don't even want to search for HP. That'll be a big one. But we'll do it just for giggles.
Yeah, essentially over 200 models of HP. They found a vulnerability that allows malware to be installed on the BIOS.
Oh,
so it avoids malware, even if you reinstall the OS. So I blasted out companies today.
Oh my God, that's terrible. Did everybody,
Yeah.
is everybody who's an Automate customer, have you guys patched your Automate? Because they have a vulnerability too. They didn't
Yep.
do a very good job of talking about it. If you got a very subtle email that says, hey, we had a new release, go install that new release. So yes, we could search HP that way. And if you had a bunch of models, you could actually do where model equals. Unfortunately, you probably have too many models to care about. But our goal is for you now to be able to spit this out, and we can generate the report here. But what we want to do is give you better ways to export this data. It looks like they've already added the Excel. I don't think that was there before. And then the other thing that we want to do is give you the ability to drill into the asset here, but also to do multi asset updates here. So what this entails is like a batch update process, kind of like where you have on the asset list, where when you multi-select a bunch of assets down the left, then you can do mass maintenance. The request we've had is I want to make all of my 2012 virtual machines have the same end of life date, right? Or I want to have all of my server 2019 boxes have the same end of life date, no matter who the customer is. So we're going to give you the ability to use that mass update function on this report across multiple clients. So pretty powerful function there. Give you the ability to sort all of this across a bunch of clients. Oh boy. You guys are making me really glad I don't own an MSP anymore. So thank you for that. Happy Friday to you. I hope you're not working the whole weekend. I'd send you gin, but it doesn't work well. It comes in little pieces in a box that smells like gin. Sorry, Kirk. One other thing that we'd like to have come out is an updated and improved view for things like the roadmap, the budget, and the risk assessment functionality. And what we're looking at is some sort of a card view prototype. So you guys are used to seeing things in Trello and Microsoft Planner and these other tools. We're hoping to get you something, that represents this in more of that prettier, more modern card view look. So we'll be looking for insight on how and where in the platform we could utilize that. Once we bring the code in to utilize it, we might as well use it in a lot of places where you guys see that it has value. Obviously, it'll come out in Report Writer that gives you some better looking reports to put in front of your customers. So we're always looking for ways to make some of that look better.
Alex, I had a question on this one.
Yeah.
In the gear, the only option I have is to change expand or not, like showing sub items. It wouldn't let me hide proposed, completed or declined. It would, like, I had to sort through all the declined and proposed. And
So when you go, you were on the recommendations list, right? Or were you on the budget?
When I flipped over to the roadmap view, so I could filter here. And when I flipped to the roadmap view, I couldn't get rid of all the declined and completed.
You don't get
Maybe
that
it's just me.
capability?
No, I don't have all these options. I only had one editing view available. I'll find it and screenshot it. I'm not on my laptop right now.
Yeah, that's weird. I haven't seen that one either. So what I'm going to say is, hold on, I have to scroll all the way to the top to get this figured out. Rafi says it works fine on my computer. Yeah.
Okay.
I apologize for that having to be the answer. But if you're not seeing what I see here, then it's definitely something we need to help you fix. So grab the support guys and they'll help you figure it out. And then the last thing that I'm super excited about is additional integrations. So when we send out the survey, we're going to be asking about, we're going to have a small list of potential integrations that you guys might see value in. I'm thinking the number of options is going to be either 4 or 5. Today, the ones listed in the roadmap are Hoodoo, Great America Leasing, Augment, and BrightGauge. So there's a few of them out there that you guys might find value in. We would like to know which of those you find the most value in. We've already done some use case analysis around all of these, but make sure and fill out that survey so that we get that all back in the same place. That survey is really going to help drive some of what we do in what order in the next couple of months here. And I'm going to add one more to that list, but that one will be a surprise for you guys. So that's really it. And other than that, we'll obviously be knocking out small enhancements as we do. You guys know this. Sometimes we just wake up on Monday morning and we have a new checkbox or a new button or something else that we didn't have before. Have you considered for us to give access to customer report repository for each QBR so that when we can give access to new and old reports? So with Report Locker, some of that functionality probably will come out, but it probably wouldn't hurt. I'll capture that as feedback and go put it on the Report Locker ticket, Mark, because I think that is a good idea. I think the goal of Report Locker is to make that stuff accessible based on, the new functionalities and the new, the new way that we're going to be storing it. I would imagine that with SSO, it makes it way easier for you to allow your customers into the platform and for you to give them a link somewhere where you can say, okay, go view all my reports. And maybe they can see an asset list or a user list or something like that as you go. Whatever you want them to have. Okay. Okay. Now you're going to make me screenshot it with Will's upvote. There we go. There we go. All right. So I'll make sure that gets over to that correct development ticket. And then the last thing I want to show you guys is something we've already put in the system. And it snuck in without even a little exclamation mark up here, like really nothing. There's going to be an official release on it here in a couple of days. They're just working on getting the documentation around it up and ready, but it's already out here. You'll already find it in your platform. If you go to account settings, we snuck in one last little tile down here. And this was a customer request. We had a customer come to us and say, in my mind, Windows 10 is already yellow and you don't give me a way to change that. So guess what? We gave you a way to change it. And you can see here in my sample environment, I've turned Windows 10 Home yellow, but I'm leaving 10 Pro as a supported operating system. But you'll now be able to click on the pencil, customize that and say, this is the end of life date for this operating system. And this is how many months prior that I want to change to start warning on it. So I made the end of this month, the end of this month, the problem. So it's reporting on it is yellow now because we're in this window. Does everybody understand how this works? Cool. So now you can go mark all your home operating systems red, and there's some places where we lump them into all, and I can see that being something that we need to start breaking out if you guys have those kind of requests. So if you see those kind of requests, I think we're inconsistent. The Windows 11 all have the same end of life date. Windows 10 or Windows 8's all, Windows 10 might be the only one that we built out separately like that, and I'm not sure why. Other than when we went digging through the system, somebody's APIs were reporting it back that way. So that really wraps up the roadmap conversation, the stuff that we're working towards over the next couple of weeks, months, quarters. If you want to see an update on the roadmap at any time, you can come over here and do roadmap. We do try and keep it up to date out in the platform. Admittedly, this quarter we were really late getting it out there, and we apologize for that. But that support article is available in the platform at any time. If you have questions or whatever, we try and keep this as public facing and available to you as possible. So that OS end of life thing is going to be slick. And then we'll just, we'll probably need some partner feedback for you guys to say, hey, I've got an operating system you didn't consider. Can you stick this one in here for me? Don't hesitate to put in that support ticket. It is a really easy uplift for us to go back and say, oh, well, the customer needs Ubuntu 16.04 in here. Let's get them a stack of other ones. When can we add our own EOL list? I think, Trisha, that some of that will get handled with asset ad hoc updates and the ability for you to go through and customize some of that. But I think that I assume that you're talking about going and picking that every Optiplex 3060 is now end of life, or every Cisco 2960 or whatever. And we're just not there yet, but I think that is a very soft, it's a very easy step from asset ad hoc to that. So I think that's something that maybe by the end of the year, maybe early next year, but we're working towards it. Right now, it's a big mass maintenance function that'll give you some of that. Today, you cannot remove or add operating systems there, but I would imagine if you guys put in enough feature requests trying to get my developers to remove and add operating systems there, magically they will give you that capability. So that's that won't hurt. So software is an interesting one. And I don't know what the right answer for that one is, because here's the problem I have with software today. And software is one we haven't fixed yet. One of the problems we have with software is typically the RMM is the only thing that knows anything about it. And when the PSA knows about it, it's because somebody hand typed it in there. And we know when that happens, I'm not going to get, Sage 300 to one customer is going to be, Sage something else, or just Sage accounting or whatever to the next customer. And it just gets really hard for us to be consistent on those. We're talking to different vendors, trying to figure out if there are some integrations that will help us do software alignment, because we know it's something that really is important, making sure that everybody's patched, making sure that everybody's up to date. But I also kind of fall back to the fact that that is a very tactical thing. Yeah, software bill of materials, a very tactical thing at the service desk level that sometimes doesn't really rise to the level of the VCIO or the meeting with all of the business contacts, right? Today, do we have log4j exposure is a big undertaking by the service desk to go look, and then an easy checkbox for you guys on a risk assessment that says, hey, we have line of business applications that are out of date and vulnerable, right? And that's the way we handle it today. I hear you on the software thing. The problem is as much sourcing the data as it is doing anything else. So with that, I'll shut up and open the floor if you guys have questions, comments, anything that you guys would like to share. And other than that, you might get out of here 19 minutes early, which by my math is at least one trouble ticket you guys have to work in the next 19 minutes. Yeah, no problem, Tim. I do have my captain hat right here. I'm just saying. Captain Obvious is in the building.
Cool. That's awesome. All right, you guys have a good one.
I did tech bar with OIT VoIP last night, and that was I had my captain hat.
Hey, Alex, I had one question.
Yeah.
Cyber CNS has some of that stuff that you were just talking about. I know you talked to those guys. Where is that development, or is it?
It's not. It just hasn't risen to the level of something that has enough partner interest for us to take it to the next step. If you guys have, if there are a bunch of Cyber CNS fans here, we'd like to hear it. Those are the kind of feature requests we'd like to hear. But Cyber CNS integration is such a vague and such a large, nebulous ask. So I would say if there's things that you would like to see pulled from Cyber CNS, then I would like to know what those things are, how you envision using them, how they fit into the customer story, those kind of things. We've had the conversation for a long time around maybe just a risk rating for an individual asset, right? Here's a PC, its risk rating is 25. Here's a server, its risk rating is 80. But even then we struggle with who's the right source for that? How do you come up with that? Do you need 10 different tools to figure that out? Or could Cyber CNS really tell you that? So that's some of that is just things that we haven't really solved for how the community would use it if we built it. So if you guys want to have a call focused around that, shoot me an email. Like if a bunch of you guys shoot me an email and say, hey, we want to talk about how we would use Cyber CNS and how we could get it all together, I'm open to having that conversation. That's kind of how we get started, deciding that we're going to go down that road in a future roadmap release. So, and yeah, I don't see us pulling anything from IBM. I can pretty much tell you that, Tim. That's just not realistic. If Cyber CNS is already doing it, we might pull that data from somebody like them. But
you guys plan on interfacing with someone like network detectives to
there's a potential there. If we each of those, that one's very similar to Cyber CNS in that interface with network detective is an easy thing to say. It's a very hard thing to materialize, right? There's a difference between, do we import and create a software list of everything that network detective found on your network? Or do you think that we need to match every PC that was in your PSA with the associated one on network detective, update information, do something there, or answer risk assessment questions, right? Each of those three things are all huge in the amount of dev labor that goes into it. And we're still in a pretty nebulous area. So again, we need those use cases from you guys to hear, hey, integration with this product, here is how I would like to use it. If you can spell that out for us, it would be super valuable. And especially if it's one of those things where we can interface with Cyber CNS to get data, but we could get the same data from network detective and or someone else. It gives us the ability to build that framework and then reuse it, which has even more value.
Yeah, Alex, how about a low budget way of just bringing in, Excel file, CSV file from Cyber CNS on some of that stuff, and then we could parse through some of that stuff and categorize it or whatever. How about something like that? That'd be a low budget thing. And then Yeah, with other products, maybe you could do it with that too. Set up
Yeah.
some templates.
We're looking at what that looks like, but so right now all of our CSV imports are very tough to manage. We need to give you a bigger a better way to manipulate those once you get them in, because today you can pull in assets or users based
Right.
on a CSV. There's not a lot that you can do with them once you get them in there. Right. So I think the question is, what data are we hoping to gain by adding that CSV, and what manipulation do we need to be able to do with it after the fact?
Yeah, I don't know all the details on that, but it would be kind of cool. Just
we can import from CSV today. We just need to hear how you would use it to kind of think through
Right.
what else we would need to give you the permission to do from it. But if you go to Data Manager today, you can import users and assets from a CSV. So if you
well, it's
wanted
not
to show,
assets. Yeah, it would be like CIS type reports or CSI or what is it? CIS.
CIS, yeah.
Reports and stuff from Cyber CNS and stuff like that. That's kind of what I was looking for. I know that spreadsheet doesn't have everything, and they claim they don't claim to have everything in that, but they do have a lot of details that can cover and get those into some of the assessments, and that's what I'm looking at instead of trying to rekey all that stuff in.
Yeah, we've talked about more than once how the best way is to help you guys answer some of those assessments quickly without having to rekey things. We know there's some struggles behind it, but I think at some point it's something we're going to have to tackle. So what those integrations look like, that's very much to be determined. But again, the use cases that you guys can give us are super valuable. And especially if you can tell me, hey, today this data lives in this tool in this format, and this is how I'd like to see it in Lifecycle Insights. That helps us to kind of look at it from 2 or 3 perspectives, from 2 or 3 applications, and build that common data layer, kind of like we did with Breach Secure Now and Know Before. And that's going to enable us to add things like ID Agent and some of those other applications in the future that do a similar thing, right? They might have a different name at the top of a column, but they do a very similar thing. So all I'll say is keep the business cases coming. There's a lot of value for us in just hearing how you guys would use it. And we continue to look at it and try and prioritize it, and hopefully we're getting a lot of it to you in the order that you need things. But we just need to keep hearing that feedback from you. So keep it coming.
A use case for me we use Network Detectives Compliance Manager.
Yep.
And when we run, so we do a analysis of the network and find what needs to be fixed and stuff. We need to be able to track each time we update the and improve the score.
So you're thinking every time Compliance Manager sees a change, it needs to tell us? Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah.
Okay.
If one of the policies, you put it in place, you're missing a policy, you put it in place, you're missing a procedure, you put it in place. And then
come back and check the box on our side that says that exists. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. I don't know Compliance Manager well at all.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
But their latest product is looking a lot better than we bought the initial one when they first came out with it.
Wait a minute. Did you just tell me that Kaseya is continuing to develop a product? Because I read on Reddit that never happens.
Well, they've improved this product. There's some of them they haven't. And the integration between all their different companies that they purchase and stuff lags behind. They integrate with ConnectWise before they integrate those products with Kaseya.
That tells you
who has a huge user base.
It's dollar value. It's dollars. Dollars drives the market. I mean, I can tell you right now, our largest integration partner is ConnectWise partners. So that enables them to sell to the most people to continue to fund development and do things with those platforms. So as much as you want it all to be, you want to go to one vendor and buy all your stuff, sometimes the revenue is the tail that wags the dog.
Yeah, but if your product would sell a lot more if you were more tightly integrated.
Yeah,
you provided
with each other
value to your clients.
One would think. One would think.
Your existing for an MSP, your existing clients are your best clients.
Yeah,
Why,
100%.
why waste time trying to get new clients when you can make more money on your own clients?
Yeah. Yep. I firmly believe that. Firmly believe that. All right. Well, I think that wraps us up for the day. I've got a few things I'm going to take to the developers. By all means, keep those use cases coming to us. You can submit them through the platform or just send an email in to support@lifecycleinsights.io, and we'll keep working through it. If you have any questions about the roadmap, again, don't hesitate to send those in to us, but I think we covered most of it today, and hopefully you guys are excited with what's coming. Look tonight for, you'll have to log out and log back in tomorrow morning, and you'll see, not that any of you are going to be working tomorrow, but especially the guys that have HP machines to patch, but the log out and log back in, and you should see the new SSO stuff being pushed out and available to you. So thanks much and have a great weekend, everybody.
You too.